In the Yoruba community, traditional institutions are a deep core of the culture, as traditional rulers are the custodians of the culture of the people. Indeed, it has been argued that the institution of traditional rulers is an enduring part of the cultural heritage due to their critical role as the custodian of culture and traditions. In recent times, there have been calls that traditional rulers be given constitutional roles, as culture is a key part of the consciousness of the people, which should not be discarded for any reasons. Successful democracies are said to be built on historical experiences that are peculiar to individual nations. There is an argument that traditional rulers be given constitutionally recognized roles on the grounds that in a country with various ethnicities and general distrust like Nigeria, the office of traditional rulers plays a unique role in maintaining peace. This is because traditional rulers, due to their strategic position in the maintenance of law and order in their respective domains and their role as custodians of the culture and tradition of their people, have what it takes to be given core responsibilities. It is therefore an issue that created mixed feelings when, in the midst of people advocating constitutional rules be given to traditional rulers, the Ogun State House of Assembly worked on a bill to change some aspects of the tradition that is core of traditional institutions. The bill, entitled the Ogun State Traditional Rulers Installation and Burial Rights Bill 2020, the bill seeks to modernize the mode of installation and burial of Obas in their respective domains. Honorable Afolabi Afuakbe is the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs in Ogun State. He sheds more light on the bill.
The new bill is meant to correct a lot of anomalies in the other bill. Any bill that's not in the tune of time, that is being obsolete, that we need to review. There are some things that bill that are no longer useful. In those days, even though the issue of selection of Oba, there wasn't us consulting IFA, it is not. But it's still part of our custom and tradition. And past custom and tradition is part of what you should consider in eventually selecting a king. But we look at all this. In some tradition, say that if there is a mass of an Oba, if you look at Oba, we have to kill somebody. Somebody must go with that Oba. Can that stand the test of time? Is it still reasonable doing that? The person that is about to be killed has some fundamental human rights. And you cannot continue living an archaic life. We have to go with time.
For the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, the mission to put things in their right position as it will not affect tradition.
It's about standardizing selection, appointments, and upgrading of Oba in Ogun State as a way of enhancing their status and bringing it in tandem with the anticipated or expected honor and integrity that's supposed to be attached to the institution of Obaship. That is what the law is all about.
And it will not affect the tradition.
Of course, there's no way to affect the tradition. Unfortunately, some people are focusing on the area where we're saying that cannibalization should not be introduced into installation or burial of Oba. But that is not the only content of the law. The content of the law is enormous. It touches on integrity. An Oba cannot go to campaign ground. It's part of it. You cannot just create a Obaship institution where it is not necessary, where the tradition does not even allow. You cannot do that. You cannot upgrade, you cannot create Obaship in a place where the intendment of the person wants to be is just to sell the land. There should be yardstick. A particular community that is looking for crown to become an Oba should have basic necessities of life. You must have a school, must have a market, must have a facility for public health and so on. before your community can be given the opportunity to be wearing crown as an Oba. Not just that because you are the friend of this person, you know this man, you know that person, you just create one person and place on, and you become an Oba. And so many other things like that. If you want to become an Oba, there must be declaration. There must be, that is the guideline as to who succeeds who, before even you do the installation, so that there will not be a problem of succession when the time arises. All those things that are causing a lot of problem are those things that the law tried to put in place and regulate.
After scaling all readings, the bill was placed before the state governor for his assent.
One of the unique things about this law, besides the fact that it sets out a method for the selection of Obas and chiefs, is the clarity that this law now provides as it relates to the passage rights of our KBACs. This law seeks to improve on previously existing Western region laws, or where there had been ambiguity as it relates to how our KBACs will be buried, the say that the families should have in how, our KBACs are buried henceforth. So this law now empowers the families to determine how our KBACs will be interned, will be buried. Of course, without prejudice to traditional rights that are meant to be performed by customary law. However, it now clarifies and removes any ambiguity about the fact that the families of our KBACs now have a say in how they want our royal fathers to be buried. And I think this is very laudable.
One of the longest reigning royal fathers in Nigeria, Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetono, Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebuland, commended the passage and signing of the bill.
Today is a great day in the history of chieftaincy in Ogun State. And I wish to especially thank His Excellency the Governor for making this to happen this morning. This bill you have signed is a bill for all the Muslims, all the Christians in Ogun State.
The newly signed chieftaincy law by the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dakwa Abeokuta, has taken us to Shagam to meet with the Kabiyesi Akarigbo and paramount ruler of Remoland, Oba Babatunde Ajayi. The new law touches the area of installation of royal fathers, hierarchy, and how they will be buried. And the only clause, the only change here is that families of the deceased royal father should be taken or carried along whenever this burial has been taking place.
Somebody said, they said Obas down should be buried according to their religious belief. Nothing in that bill says that. What the bill just said is that anybody that disturbs the family from burying their deceased Oba is liable to an imprisonment. With the proviso too that this is without prejudice to the performance and observance of traditional rights of for the deceased. So it's not a question of when a cabinet is going now, traditional rights are banned. No, it even says that it's without prejudice to it. It only says that look, the family has a say in the burial of any cabinet that passed on. And might I add too that the bill itself, it's what we call in law incomplete. It's not a piece of beautiful legislation that requires an act to be done for it to be final. So what it says is that the way it is shifted responsibilities to all traditional councils. That we have 4 traditional councils in Ogun State. That each one of the traditional councils should go back to the drawing board and determine the procedure burial for each of the KBC. So basically, you could have something operating in Egba that is different from what we operate in Rebo, that is different from what we operate in Ijebu. That's just the way the bill has been crafted. So that each of the traditional councils now are supposed to go back, have their own sort of summit, and come up with what will constitute the burial rights for each. So what they will now do, once they do that, they put it in support of a declaration and will send it to the ministry. It's only at that point in time that it becomes the declaration for that particular council. There are certain things that are expressly ruled out by the bill, like mutilation, like cannibalization, that it cannot be done since 2022, for God's sake. That cannot be done, you cannot do that. But it still protects traditional rights, observance of traditional rights. And you know that this tradition is evolving. There was a time where there's something called Isemo, that you find out that some days they will lock down a town. Women cannot go out. You can't go to your work. You can't open a gate in there. So tradition is evolving. But I think a lot of the furore and the noise that is generated is, how do I put it, is based out of ignorance.
Saturday's special crew also went to seek people's opinion about the new chief's law.
You see, the issue of ownership is regulated by law. A law passed by the same House of Assembly or deemed to have been passed by the same House of Assembly. So if at any time they want to amend it, they are free to. And in any case, you see, culture is dynamic. Culture is not constant. What is custom today might not be custom tomorrow. And what is custom today may not have been custom yesterday. So if at any point in time, the lawmakers or the people, as represented by the lawmakers, says, well, it is high time we change this. Let the family of the Obas have a say in this. So I don't see anything wrong in it.
The Muslim rights concern, Murik, had earlier applauded the state government for signing the bill.
Also, they commended the effort of the government because that